Now serving breakfast on Mars.
Are we live? Are we live?
Yep, what's up guys? This is Breakfast on Mars, I'm Venkman. And today we're going to talk about,
Superheroes.
superheroes. It's come to my attention that superheroes are everywhere now, especially in movies when as a little kid there were barely any movies. I mean, there was Superman and there was Batman. And there was a bunch of other low budget superhero movies like Captain America. And I think there was a Flash movie, but I think that was just a TV show made into like a movie or something.
Yeah, TV show.
And there was also The Punisher. And,
Was there?
Yeah, that was with Dolph Lundgren.
What the
It's like
fuck?
late 80s. I haven't seen it yet.
That's new to me. I didn't know about that.
It looks weird because Dolph Lundgren, he has like that blonde hair or something.
All I can think
and
of
he has
is-
black hair in this one, so it's weird.
All I can think of is Universal Soldier when I hear his name. Never the Punisher.
I know that was a weird choice because he has like an accent, kind of, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's all like, I don't even know where he's from.
He might be Russian or
Russian?
German.
Oh, he did come
maybe?
on that.
It's crazy how he managed to like get like an English accent down, kind of, and Van Damme still doesn't. He still has that
In every
shitty
fucking
like
movie.
accent. I heard like in an interview that his accent has gotten worse. Like it doesn't improve over time;
Yeah.
it just gets worse.
Yeah, I kind of noticed he has the same type of accent in every movie. But I guess that's just him.
Yeah. All right, so I have Jerry with me, and we're gonna talk a little bit about superheroes and I guess
Hello.
how they're sort of taking over everything now because they're everywhere now. I mean, before it was just comics and toys and video games, and now they're definitely more prominent in movies because there's like a bunch of superhero movies coming out this year. There's Deadpool came out already.
Batman
There's
versus
Batman
Superman.
versus Superman. There's Suicide Squad. Although it's
Suicide
not
Squad.
really more like super villains,
well,
but I mean,
it's
it's
in that
still
category.
it's in that category. And there's the new Captain America movie coming out.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, that one's gonna be good. Let's go back. Like, what's the first superhero movie you remember watching?
Oh man, I would have to say the 90s Batman movies,
Yeah.
starting with the Michael Keaton one.
Yeah.
And then it progressed into, what was that, Batman Forever with Jim Carrey, and then the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Chris O'Donnell.
George Clooney. I thought
George
that was
Clooney.
that was the worst choice ever because he looked like an old guy. I mean, he wasn't old, but he had like that gray hair already or something.
You know, he even admitted, I think in an article, he said he hated doing that movie. Or he looks back at it now and he doesn't like it. He said he like regrets doing it or something like that.
That movie was weird. He had like nipples on his suits. And
Yeah,
the
what was that
crotch
about?
shots
Crotch
and everything.
shots?
And
Well, I didn't mind Alicia Silverstone, but
yeah, she was hot back then,
Yeah.
especially because of Clueless. Yeah, I mean, I remember the Burton movies like being, I guess, my favorite ones because I wasn't really into Superman back then, and I didn't really Superman. The movies with Christopher Reeve were, I think, too old for me for me to really get into. So I was really into like Batman. I really liked Batman Forever. I didn't like Batman and Robin as much. I think once they start changing out like actors and all that, it sort of loses like its appeal to me because I'm like, I don't feel like it's really a continuation.
yeah, they kind of killed it with the Batman one.
Yeah.
They just a different actor every movie.
So back then, I guess I wasn't really into superhero movies towards the end of the '90s because there wasn't really any way.
No.
It wasn't until I think 2000 when I remember first seeing like the preview for the X-Men movie. And I
Oh,
thought
the
that
very
was
first
pretty
one?
cool. Yeah, the very first one because it was all dark and I was like, X-Men aren't really dark. Like they have all these colorful outfits and everything.
Uh-huh.
Like Wolverine is, dominated by the color yellow basically, and at least the '90s one. And then they were all wearing black suits, I remember, in the movie. And I was like, this is a really, well, afterwards. I wasn't thinking about it as a kid, but afterwards I was like, it's a really realistic approach to superheroes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it kind of took a while for me to kind of take that in. The fact that they were wearing all black and like leather.
Yeah.
Because you're used to seeing them in color as a kid in the X-Men cartoon, so that was a little weird. But yeah, it plays really well.
I was pretty excited for that, I remember. And I thought that was going to be like the coolest movie ever. I remember thinking, all right, you know, this is like a whole different take on superheroes now. Like we have X-Men. I didn't think we were going to get like other superhero movies after that. Like maybe like in a few years after that, like they'll come like sporadically, I think the word is. But then the following year, or I think the following 2 years, we got Spider-Man. And that wasn't as much of a realistic approach because it was still very like
with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, it was still very comic book like, you know. It wasn't like they weren't trying to be too realistic like X-Men. Like, oh, we're not going to put them in silly costumes or anything. Like Spider-Man used his Spider-Man costume.
I think those are still my favorite Spider-Man movies.
The Tobey Maguire ones,
yeah.
The Sam Raimi ones. Yeah, those are great. I'm not really a big fan of the Amazing Spider-Man ones. I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's just the Tobey Maguire ones. There's something about them that just.
I think they just killed it with the third one because of what they did with Venom. He was supposed to be like this big fucking monstrous thing, and it was like scrawny fucking Eric Foreman from that '70s show.
And honestly, I believe that he would have played a better Carnage than a Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seriously thought that's what he was more.
In my head, though, I always saw. He would have been too old anyway, but I thought Jim Carrey would have made a great Carnage, like back in his earlier days.
Yeah.
Because he kind of looked like him from the cartoon, the '90s cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a Jim Carrey look to him.
And you know the what's his face? For the third one, the Sand guy.
Sandman.
When I first saw that movie, I thought he was gonna be Venom because he's kind of big and buff, you know.
Yeah, he's got like the build for Venom.
I thought it was gonna be him, but it was like, wait, no, wrong role.
Yeah, and then after that, I think there were like other movies. There was the Hulk, which I wasn't too impressed with.
I hated that one, the Eric Bana one.
It was boring. I think it wasn't doing it for me.
The Hulk, man, I don't know. It drags too long, and then like.
Yeah.
The Hulk design is just.
And I wasn't a big fan of the Hulk anyway. Before that, like I thought he was just like. I was like, I don't really like this guy. He's big and green. I don't know. He's got like funny purple shorts. But then, what do you think of the Punisher, the first Punisher movie?
I thought that one was great. Wait, you talking about the one with
The one with John Travolta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been a while since I've seen that. No, yeah, it's a good one. I like that fight with that big Russian guy in the apartment building.
Oh, the guy with like the striped shirt, like the blonde hair. Yeah, that was a good fight.
Good fight. I like the way they killed off John Travolta at the end.
That was epic. The way he just gets dragged between all those cars.
Oh man, that's so fucked up. It was funny though.
Yeah.
I need to watch that movie again.
Did you see the other Punisher movie that came out like, I don't know, I think it was like 5 years after that?
Is it like a sequel?
I don't know if it was a sequel, but it was
Shit, I don't even remember.
I think it was called Punisher Warzone or something. And like the villain was Jigsaw.
I have no clue.
I don't know, but it wasn't the same actor, it was some other actor, some British guy, I think. And it was a lot more violent, definitely, but it was entertaining, but I don't know.
Huh.
Can't say I really enjoyed it like that much.
I need to look that up. I might have known about it at some point.
Yeah.
But it seems kind of new to me right now.
And fucking. Oh, you know, I wanted to ask you, like, what did you think of the Green Goblin design in the first Spider-Man movie? Because for a movie that I thought was sort of going traditional and sticking to like the comic book look, they really kind of went the other way with the Green Goblin, gave him like this fucking green armor thing, and not like his usual like hood and tights and all that.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting that. I grew up watching the Spider-Man cartoons, and that's what he looks like in the cartoon. You know, he
Yeah.
has it's not really an armor like you said. He has a whole hood thing going on. I was expecting that, but I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of.
It was different. It was, I
weird.
think, too different.
It bothers me that his like, the face of the helmet.
Yeah.
It's just like one, you know, with the open mouth.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Would have been cool to see like actual like makeup on him, on like his face, his green face.
Kind of like that last Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I think
Like-
that was a good look for a Green Goblin.
Yeah, they didn't put a mask on. That just kind of
Yeah, they
natural
started.
makeup and face.
Yeah, because that suit was weird. He looked, I don't know, looked stiff in that suit. Like, I don't know. It was
But then
just-
again, try to picture Willem Dafoe.
You know, Willem Dafoe could have made a good Carnage too, because he's got like that craziness to him.
Yeah, that guy's a creep. Saw him on the
Remember-
best ones.
Yeah, I was about to tell you about that. That guy with like little short shorts looked like Willem Dafoe.
And then he noticed that we were talking about him. He kept looking at us. Willem Dafoe. No, I think he made a good character, but that's just the whole helmet thing really bothers me.
Yeah,
The glider was fucking awesome. I thought
yeah, that was cool. There were a lot of cool things about it. I think after X-Men came out, and then Spider-Man came out, I think Spider-Man became my favorite movie ever.
Those were the best
It was-
ones at that time.
Yeah, because it was fun. And then I don't think it was until, you know, I wasn't really impressed by Batman Begins. At first, I think it was because I was judging Christian Bale too much because I didn't know him. Like, I'd seen him in some dragon movie, I think called Reign of Fire. And then he had like a beard there, so I was like, how's this guy gonna be Batman? And then, like, I don't know, when I'd see his face in the mask, he had like this chubby face. I don't know, it was just weird. But I did like that they were gonna finally bring out like a new villain. Not a new villain, but like a villain we hadn't seen before in like, I guess in film, which was Scarecrow. So I thought that was pretty cool. And but yeah, I wasn't too impressed with Batman Begins at first. It wasn't until I was older that I was like, you know, I think this is probably like the best one in the trilogy.
What year did that come out in?
I think it was 2005.
No way.
Yeah.
So
And this was
we were still in 10th grade?
yeah,
What the fuck? Wow, it's been that long?
yeah.
Jesus.
That's crazy, huh? And that actually pushed superhero movies into more of like the realistic thing, like making excuses for why you needed this to be on the like his suit or something, you know, like
Okay.
like I don't know, which is cool for I guess I don't know. I'm more I like movies that are more set to at least superhero movies that are more traditional and that they're trying to adapt like a comic book. Like, you know, they're supposed to be superheroes. You're not trying to make excuses for why they're gonna wear a silly looking outfit, you know. And I feel like that's what Batman Begins try to do in the following movies too. But don't get me wrong, I do like, you know, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Not too much Dark Knight Rises though.
That last one?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan. of
Yeah.
that one.
I totally agree.
It's because it's set like in a fucking regular city. Like, when I see the Burton Batman films and they have like all these weird looking buildings, it sort of has like that gothic feel to it, which it has like that dark tone that I feel like Batman should have that I usually see like in the comics or in the animated series. But once the Nolan films came along, it was just like you threw Batman into like New York or something, and it was just too realistic for me. Which is good. It's just
It didn't have that dark
it didn't
feel
have
to
that
it.
dark feel to it.
You know that last movie? It bothered me that they filmed in daylight, like towards the end.
Yeah, because fucking Batman barely ever comes out in daylight.
I was
think
like, what the fuck?
in the animated series, I think he only came out like once in the daytime. I think he was up in a tree or something. I don't remember it too well.
It's a small detail, but it really bugged
He
me.
looks ridiculous out in
Yeah,
daylight. He's
like-
supposed to be like in the shadows at night where you can barely see him.
It's like a white tiger in a jungle.
Yeah.
Just stick out like.
It was sort of like the 60s Batman TV show, just fucking silly or something.
But the Tim Burton one, that one definitely has a dark.
Yeah, the first one,
Feels
especially the
bad.
second one. Returns is a lot darker than the first one.
The music did a lot for it too.
Yeah,
That
the
really
music,
helped.
Danny Elfman's score. And who did the Nolan ones? Hans Zimmer, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought it was pretty cool. It sort of like altered like the suspense, and especially during especially in The Dark Knight, because it had like that. I don't know, it was like that noise that was sort of in the back, just sort of like building like I don't remember.
Yeah, that that makes me tense,
Yeah.
like kind of nervous almost.
Who do you think was a better Joker?
Better Joker. Let's see, there was
Let's not count the '60s Joker, Cesar Romero, because that guy was weird looking. He was kind of creepy. He had like a mustache under his makeup.
Jesus, what's his name?
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Why can't I think of his name? There was him, and then
And it was
you know what? Hands down, Jack Nicholson.
Really?
I would say so. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Heath Ledger for some reason.
No. I mean, he wasn't bad, but just
You feel like he's kind of overrated now, like his Joker.
no, not even that. It's just something about Jack Nicholson that just.
And Jack Nicholson sort of. I don't know. I felt like he was like sort of like. He had like that fun part of the Joker, you know. He wasn't too serious, but at the same time, he brought a sort of darkness to it. Like you could see it in his face when he's acting. Like there was that fun part of the Joker that you see. Like he's a Joker, but then there was also like that evil, that sort of like crazy part of him.
He had a little bit of classiness too.
Yeah.
That's something the Heath Ledger Joker didn't have.
I feel like the Nicholson Joker sort of represents the old comics, and the Heath Ledger one sort of represents the stuff that was coming up in the '80s, which was a lot darker. I don't know if it was '80s or no, yeah, no, it was '80s and I guess early '90s where he fucking killed the second Robin, so they were trying to. Because I think during the '70s, Batman had became sort of lame and campy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they were like, fuck, we gotta like make it darker and grittier. So I think Heath Ledger represents that part, which I think he does, great. But I still prefer the Nicholson.
Who'd you be
Joker.
more afraid of, scared of, Ledger or Nicholson?
Probably Nicholson. I don't know.
Think so?
He's got like those checkered pants. I don't know. He's got a more evil look to his face, whereas Heath Ledger looks like someone like ran a lipstick all over his face. And it was just weird. But yeah, and then I think what started that was DC, right? So DC was holding up their shit, and Marvel was sort of like coming up with these shitty movies like Hulk and Fantastic Four.
I hate that one.
And then came
So
fucking Iron Man. Now, I was a huge fan of Iron Man as a little kid. I remember I like made my brother go through a bunch of shit to get me like the toy, and because I remember back in the day, Universal Studios had this store, kind of like a superhero store, I think.
Yeah.
And it had like this statue of Iron Man inside, or something like this, like life-size Iron Man thing.
Did they?
Yeah.
I just remember that big ass Hulk at the entrance.
Oh yeah, they had him too. But they had like inside they had this Iron Man, and I remember he made such an impression on me that I was like, all right, I want this toy, and then I started seeing him in the Spider-Man cartoon, and I think he had his own cartoon also, but I think I just saw reruns of those. And then I remember telling my brother, I think maybe a few years before Iron Man came out, the movie, I was like, who would make I think we were watching Zodiac with Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr. And I think I told him, Robert Downey Jr. would make a good Tony Stark. And what do you know? They chose him to be Iron Man.
Yeah, he was born to play that role, man.
He's got like the whole, like, he looks like Tony Stark. And
They nailed it with that one, man.
I think that's a favorite for a lot of people, because not a lot of people knew about Iron Man. Like, he was sort of like this, I don't know, for Marvel, I guess it was like X-Men, Spider-Man, Captain America. Even Captain America was sort of dying out already. Like, everyone thought he was like a goody two-shoes and everything. So then Iron Man came out, and he had like this, it was just cool to see how they made him into like this, I don't know, his suit is just cool. I think that's what attracts a lot of people.
Yeah, when I first saw that movie, it really did something for me. It's one of my favorite ones. I don't get tired of watching it.
A lot of
Over and
people
over.
say that it was influenced by the first RoboCop movie.
Oh, really?
I don't see why though. I don't see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, oh, really?
I feel like if anything, the new RoboCop movie was influenced by the Iron Man movie because of the whole mask coming down,
Definitely.
the
Yeah.
visor, and I
Yeah,
think it was
things
also
were weird.
influenced by the Batman movies because of the armor, how it was all black and
Sorry,
and
Toby.
stuff.
Hey, oh man, I lost my thought.
What do you think of the Marvel movies so far, though? Beginning with like Iron Man, like the whole stuff that Marvel is starting to come out with.
Starting with Iron Man?
Yeah, like after that, then Captain America followed, I think, and then the Thor movies, and then Avengers.
Honestly, don't remember, dude. I think I just, as it came out, I wasn't really excited for those other ones.
I know for sure I wasn't excited for Thor because I don't, I'm not a big Thor fan.
Yeah, neither am I. Like, I wasn't really excited for those. But then when they came out, and I actually went to go see them, I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. You know, one of the reasons these movies are coming out a lot is because of the type of technology we have now,
Yeah.
the visual effects and the kind of production we can. That really helps make a movie. Something they couldn't do back then.
Yeah.
So that, like for example, the Iron Man movies.
Yeah.
You can picture
definitely.
that doing that back
Yeah,
then.
they couldn't. It would've-
No, it's just
would've looked lame.
Mm-mm.
Also, I feel like costume design definitely plays a bigger role too
Yes.
because if you they were gonna make a Justice League TV show back in the late '90s, and I saw pictures of it, and they look lame. Their suits look all bulky. They look like costumes, you know.
I hated Iron Man's suit in the comics. It just looks like spandex and like red gloves. Like,
I actually love that look to him.
Do you
Like,
really?
The original look to him, yeah. Where I think the only armor part I think are his gloves and
The chest
his actual
piece.
chest piece
yeah.
and his helmet. I actually love that look. But I do like this film look too, except the fact that he's always changing like the suit. You know, he has all these Mark.
One and like
yeah.
Mark 1000, Mark 1 million.
My favorite one is probably like the Mark III, I think, which is the one he uses the most in the first movie.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
the
like
one
I feel
where-
like gold is taking over more of his suit nowadays than the red.
Uh-huh.
Because before, I think the gold was sort of like it played second to the red part of his suit.
Yeah, the
And,
first suit, the Mark 1 had more red in it. Yeah, I think I would have to say the Mark 3 is my favorite one too.
Yeah.
I think the chest piece on that one's the triangle.
Was it a triangle or is it a
Yeah,
circle?
no, I think it's. Was it the other way around?
I think it's a circle. I think now he has the triangle one, doesn't he? Or now he doesn't have anything. I think he finally managed to take it out, right?
He took it off, but it's
Yeah.
on the suit though. Oh man, I can't remember. But yeah, that's one of the coolest ones.
And I like that DC now it seems to be like they're sort of they see that going the traditional way with you know how the costumes are, like they're actually going for the real look of the costumes from the comics.
Mm-hmm.
I think because DC sees that that's working, that they're sort of doing that now too. Because the new movie Batman versus Superman. Batman has like he doesn't have like that black armor you usually see him wearing in films. Now he has like that gray suit that he wears like in the comics.
Yes, I saw this online yesterday actually. Something about the new bat suit. It's more of a like a fabric thing than anything. It's not really like an armor. Like
Yeah, it's not armor. It's like actual like what he wears like in comics and the cartoon. And that suit is really based on the Dark Knight Returns comic book by Frank Miller. And it looks cool. He's got like that huge bat fucking signal thing on his chest, which I like.
Something different, man. Because you always see that little small.
But with all these fucking movies, though, you don't feel like eventually people are gonna get tired of them?
Yes, that's crossed my mind so many times, dude. Like, it's been what, 10 years now? 15
I think
years?
so. And I feel like starting with this decade, starting with like, I don't know, starting 2010, I feel like now there's like a bunch of at least 3 superhero movies each year. And then this year we have like, I don't know, 6 or 7, I think. And I feel like eventually people are going to grow out of this and start like
It's a thing of the past.
Yeah, like it's gonna get old soon, you know.
They have a bunch of movies lined up to like
Yeah, like passing 2020.
20. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I love superhero films, but I feel like eventually it's gonna overwhelm me, and I'm just not gonna want to watch them. You know, they're probably gonna. I don't know, but I feel like for that to happen, something better has to come along to like kick them out. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that could be, because there's so much stuff they could do with superhero films, like people that they don't like. There's a Doctor Strange movie coming out. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah.
Like the magician guy or something. Not really a big fan. And Gambit's coming out this year too with with Channing Tatum.
Wait, that's being released this year?
Yeah, I think in October.
Fuck, where have I been?
I just saw that on Wikipedia, but it seems legit. You know, I wasn't a big fan of Channing Tatum being the choice for Gambit, but I've been told that he has like a good Cajun accent because I guess he was raised there or something.
Uh-huh.
And then I saw him. I think it was a fan made like thing where he was like in a Gambit outfit. Actually, doesn't look too bad in it.
That's crazy.
So I'm
No,
interested
that
to
one
see
I'm
how
more-
that plays out.
I'm really curious about that one now.
Plus, I mean, every time I've like criticized someone for who they're gonna play in a movie, I've always been, you know,
They end up playing a.
they end up doing
role.
it good. Except George Clooney. He was a terrible Batman, and Arnold was a terrible Mr. Freeze, and that movie was just shit.
Terrible, Mr. Freeze, man. Why did they pick Arnold? I want to know why they picked Arnold.
Why didn't they choose Arnold for Bane? He was, well, I guess he wasn't buff anymore like he used to be, so
Yeah.
he looked like this old.
And then the accent too.
Yeah,
Bane doesn't really have an Austrian accent.
I thought Bane was supposed to be like a Latino guy,
Yeah, like Cuban or something.
something
Something.
Colombian. I don't know.
Colombian, yeah, something in South America.
And then I was really let down by how they portrayed him in The Dark Knight Rises. Like, I know you couldn't make him like huge, but Tom Hardy didn't look that big either compared to Batman with his armor.
Yeah, because if they would have made him too big, that would have taken away from the.
And I doubt they would have wanted to use CGI to like make him look a lot bigger.
Yeah, that would have looked silly.
Yeah. Maybe he's just one of those characters you can't really nail down. Although if they did not Bane, if they did the Hulk and they made him look kind of realistic, pretty sure they could do Bane. Because the Hulk in the Avengers movies, he really does look like Mark Ruffalo. If you look at his face, he's got that Mark Ruffalo look to him.
He does, yeah.
And you don't need to show Bane's face. He's got a mask.
That's a good thought.
But that's not CGI. What is that called? That's fucking the shit that they use for like King Kong, where you know the person still plays it, so it's not really like all just computer.
Oh, and they're wearing that spandex suit with the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
balls on them.
Yeah.
The motion cap.
Yeah, there you go, motion capture.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with Bane too. When I first saw what he looked like, I was like, wait, what? That's Bane? I was expecting something a little more extreme, but not too extreme.
Yeah. All right. Well, what about TV shows? I know there was Smallville, like you know, the beginning of like the century, which was cool, you know, but he wasn't like. I feel like it was more of like a teen drama or something because
Yeah.
he never got to suit up or anything. He never.
I hated that.
He was just Clark Kent like for the whole 10 years.
Never really got into that one. Did you see it?
I would watch it. Like
You
I
watch
liked
it?
it. I think I watched the first 3 or 4 seasons, and then it just got boring because he never became Superman. He was just fucking Clark Kent the whole time. But now there's Arrow and there's the Flash, which I think are right now the 2 biggest superhero TV series on right now. I'm not a big fan of. Well, I've just started watching Arrow, but I'm not a fan of the superhero or just hero known as Arrow, Green Arrow. I don't know. I think it's because in the comics he'd always like start shit with the Flash because they were both best friends of Green Lantern, and I've always sided with the Flash because he was my favorite superhero back then. But I really like these shows and where they're going. I thought they were gonna be lame, you know, but they're actually really good.
Yeah, the first and second season of the Arrow, those are actually pretty cool. They stir up a lot of emotion as you're watching. The action's awesome. The story's pretty cool. Third season, it's not bad, but it's not as good as the first 2.
Are they like running out of things to? I heard I don't know who the actor is. You know the actor's name who plays Arrow?
Stephen Amell.
Yeah, I read in an article where they interviewed him about like I think they heard him say that he'd switch to Marvel or something if like he had the chance because I guess they're making a lot more money than DC is.
Yes, he said he would play. Oh man, I read this somewhere. He wants to play a character if they offered it to him. Oh man, I can't remember.
Because he did say that he doesn't feel like he's gonna do Arrow forever. Like he thought, I think he said that 5 seasons would be good. You know?
Would be it. Yeah, yeah. Anything after that would be just too much.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's only so much you can cover without. I mean, not he doesn't have that many like great. He doesn't have like a line of villains that are cool. You know, like the Flash and Batman have. You know, they have a bunch that they could cover and cover and cover.
Yeah, season 3, like I said, it's good, but not as good as the first 2. Like it's kind of dying down a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not bad for what it is. It's not bad. I definitely recommend
The Flash,
it.
I feel like is getting better. I read a rumor that Wally West, who's supposedly like in the comics, he's the 3rd Flash. I heard that he might be the main Flash for the 3rd season. Like maybe something will happen to Barry,
Yeah.
and he'll sort of like take a step back while Wally does his stuff.
You've been watching it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but maybe just for that season, maybe just for the first half, because Barry is the main Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they just want to please all the Wally West fans out there that he gets to be the Flash for a
Oh,
little
for
bit.
sure. Yeah, he will be in it.
I just wonder how it'll happen because in the comics, the way Barry became the Flash was, he was like fucking doing some like I don't know, he was like around the chemicals and shit, and then like lightning struck him.
Yeah.
And he became the Flash, and then Wally West became the Flash the same way when Barry was explaining to him how he became the Flash, and then he said like lightning never strikes twice in the same place, and it happened and then that's how Wally West became the Flash, old Kid Flash.
It will happen though. I mean, they wouldn't have introduced this character if
Yeah.
he's not gonna.
He's not gonna like do it,
And this last episode actually, Wally and Barry are kind of interacting a little more.
Yeah. And it seems like the comic too, because Wally didn't know that Barry was the Flash, and he thought he was like this boring fucking cop or something, or a forensics guy. And then it wasn't later when he found out he was the Flash. He was like, oh, he's cool now, I feel like this is the same thing. Like he doesn't really get along with Barry at first because all the other stuff all the drama that's going on.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for that actually.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be cool.
But yeah, the Flash TV show is pretty cool, man. A lot of twists and turns.
Yeah, there is, and I like that it's different from the comics. I like that they're not, because I don't want to be like, oh, I knew that was coming, Like I know that they're mixing up, like they're putting names onto like different people that originally belonged to other people, like the Black Flash, who they call Zoom on the TV show. He isn't Zoom. Zoom, it was another fucking Reverse Flash. Name, I don't know. I forget. I forget about the names, but
There isn't a Zoom in the comics?
yeah, there is. But he's like another yellow suited Flash.
Oh, he doesn't have the whole black suit.
No. That there is a black Flash looking thing, but it's like sort of. I think it's like I don't know, like a Grim Reaper almost from like.
Yeah, kind of like
from like the Speed Force or something. I don't know. I don't remember reading too much about it. Because that came along like when I was losing my interest in comics already.
Dude, that last episode of The Flash, the ending.
The reveal?
Fuck.
That was crazy. Spoiler alert, but it was Jay Garrick, right?
Jay Garrick.
And it was weird because where is he from? Because the double that him and what's her name? And Caitlin were looking at. Remember they saw him at the park?
At the bench, right?
And maybe I was thinking like, what if he just like played it off like that, like, oh, I'm just gonna let them see me as some like nobody, like at a bench, but really, he's fucking Zoom.
I've been trying to piece it together this whole time.
And how did he get to the other fucking Earth? In the comics, there's like a bunch of Earths though. There's Earth 1, Earth 2. I think they go up to like 30 something. So if he's from like another Earth, I feel like this is gonna get like super confusing to a lot of people. Because my parents watch and they're like, "What do you mean there's another Earth?" And it's hard for them to comprehend, and they get mixed up.
It's probably like 3 doppelgangers or something, dude.
Yeah, fuck, I don't know. If they-
A lot of people thought it was gonna be Barry's dad from another universe.
yeah, I thought that too, and I thought maybe Wally also. And who's the fucking guy with that helmet who's behind the glass?
That's bugging the shit out of me, dude.
And it sucks because Barry said he was gonna go back and save him, and he
Never did.
Yeah, he couldn't. He can't go back now.
But did you see the way he reacted when when Zoom dropped Jay Garrick?
Yeah, he was like
when he
all
was dead?
scared and shit. Right?
So it kind of gives a clue who it may be, but
Who haven't we seen on Earth 2 yet? We haven't seen Wally West in Earth 2 yet.
We haven't seen him. We haven't seen
I don't think they're gonna bring out Patty again.
Oh man, she's annoying. I hope they don't.
I know Linda Park is gonna have to come back because in the comics that was Wally West's wife. So I know she'll come back. But then her Earth 2 counterpart already came out. She was like that villain.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to see. And I
Gonna get
can't wait
interesting.
for this season is bringing a bunch of cool shit. So we're gonna end it here for the superhero convo, and maybe we'll continue this on another part.
Awesome.
I don't have any fucking music to play at the end of the show because no bands have like sent me their music. So if you're a local band and you want
Some exposure.
yeah, you want some exposure and you want people to hear your music, send me an audio file or something of one of your songs and I'll play it at the end of the show. Also, I want to give a shout out to another channel on YouTube called Beers and Rants, who I think you guys should check out. I have them featured on my channel. Before I started this, I really, always wanted to start like some sort of like interview or talk show or podcast to talk about different topics, and I was always too scared to until I watched this other channel, Beers and Rants, and I was like, if these guys could do it, then I could do it too. And so I really want to thank them for that because they sort of gave me the push to follow through with this. All right, so I'll catch you guys on the next episode, and yeah, see ya.
Peace out.